Hey everyone, if you're receiving SSI or SSDI benefits, you need to hear this right now. The Treasury Department just confirmed some major changes coming to Social Security payment schedules. And honestly, this is going to impact millions of Americans who are already stretched thin every single month. I know what you're thinking. Oh, great. Another change to worry about. Trust me, I get it. When you're living on a fixed income and every dollar is already accounted for before it even hits your account, the last thing you need is uncertainty about when your money is coming. But stick with me here because I spent hours reading through the Treasury's official report so you don't have to. And then there's actually some information in here that could really help you plan better. So here's what's happening. The Department of Treasury, working with the Social Security Administration, has been reviewing the payment distribution system for SSI and SSDI benefits, and they've identified some issues with the current schedule that have been causing real problems for recipients. Right now, SSI payments go out on the 1st of every month. Unless the first falls on a weekend or holiday, then it comes early. SSDI payments, on the other hand, are staggered throughout the month based on your birth date. If you were born between the 1st and 10th, you get paid on the 2nd Wednesday. Born between the 11th and 20th, 3rd Wednesday. And if you're born between the 21st and 31 stone, it's the 4th Wednesday. Sounds organized, right? Except it's created a bunch of complications. According to the Treasury's report, the main goal of these changes is to, quote, improve payment reliability and reduce financial strain caused by irregular payment dates. Let me translate that from government speak. They've realized that when payment dates shift around because of weekends and holidays, it messes up your entire budget. Your rent doesn't move. Your utilities don't care if the first fell on a Saturday. Your car payment is still due when it's due. The report specifically mentions that they want to create more predictability for beneficiaries who rely on these payments for essential living expenses. And look, I know it might sound like they're just now figuring this out, but honestly, I'm glad they're acknowledging it at all.
Now let's talk about who this impacts, because we're talking about a massive number of people here.
This affects roughly 8 million Americans receiving SSI. That includes elderly folks living on limited income, disabled adults and children, and people who are blind. These are individuals who typically have less than $2,000 in assets and very little other income. Then you've got about 9 million people on SSDI. These are workers who became disabled and can't work anymore. This includes veterans who got injured after service and now rely on disability benefits. Moms and dads who developed chronic illnesses and can't support their families the way they used to. Young adults who were in accidents. People with mental health conditions that prevent them from working. We're talking about nearly 17 million Americans total. That's not a small number. That's millions of families trying to keep food on the table, keep the lights on, and keep a roof over their heads. Okay, so here's what's actually changing according to the Treasury confirmation. Starting in early 2026, they're implementing a standardized payment date system that will reduce the variation in payment timing. Essentially, they're working to make sure that payments go out on more consistent days each month, regardless of weekends and holidays. For SSI recipients, instead of sometimes getting paid 2 or 3 days early when the first falls on a weekend, they're looking at establishing a set payment date that won't fluctuate as much. The exact date is still being finalized, but the goal is consistency. For SSDI recipients, the birthday-based schedule is staying in place, but they're adjusting how they handle holidays and weekends to create a more predictable pattern. Instead of shifting payments to Friday if Wednesday is a holiday, they're exploring a system where you'll know months in advance exactly which day your payment will arrive. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. There are some challenges here. First, change is hard. If you've been getting your SSI payment on the 1st for years and suddenly it shifts to the 3rd, that might mess up your automatic payments and your whole budgeting system. You're going to need to contact your landlord, your utility companies, anyone you have automatic payments set up with. Second, there's a transition period. The Treasury report mentions that implementation will happen in phases throughout 2026. That means some months might be irregular while they're switching systems over. That uncertainty is stressful, I know. And third, if you're barely making it from check to check, even a 1 or 2 day shift in when your money arrives could mean late fees, overdraft charges, or having to skip meals. That's the reality for a lot of you. And I don't want to pretend that's not valid. But here's some actually good news buried in this announcement. 1. They're committing to sending out notices at least 90 days before any changes affect your account. That means you'll have 3 months to prepare, contact your bill companies, and adjust your budget. 2. The Treasury is requiring the SSA to create a payment calendar that goes out 12 months in advance. You'll be able to see exactly when every single payment is coming for the entire year. No more guessing. No more checking your account every day hoping it hit. 3. They're also improving the direct deposit system to reduce the number of payments that get delayed or issued as paper checks. More reliability, fewer trips to the bank or check cashing places. And 4, and this is big, they're acknowledging that the current system has been causing hardship. That might not fix your bills today, but it means future policy might actually start considering what it's like to live on these programs. So what should you actually do with this information? First, make sure the Social Security Administration has your current mailing address. You need to get those notices when they come out. If you've moved and haven't updated your address, do that immediately. You can do it online at SSA, Gov by phone, or at your local Social Security office. Second, sign up for a My Social Security account if you haven't already. That's where you'll be able to see your payment schedule and get updates first. It's free and takes about 10 minutes to set up. Third, start looking at your budget now. Figure out which bills absolutely have to be paid first, which ones have grace periods, and which companies you might need to call to adjust due dates. You've got time to prepare. Use it. Fourth, if you have direct deposit, double-check that your bank information on file is correct. The last thing you want is a payment going to an old closed account during this transition. And fifth, be patient with yourself. If you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed about this, that's completely normal. These payments are your lifeline. It's okay to be worried about changes. Look, I know some of you are already behind on bills and stressed about how you're going to make it work, even with the current schedule. Make sure you check out my other videos on emergency assistance programs. I've got videos covering emergency food assistance, utility bill help, and rent assistance programs. A lot of you don't realize what's actually available out there. Also, call 211. It's a free service that connects you with local resources in your area. Food banks, rent assistance, medical bill help, all of it. They can tell you what's available right where you live. And if you're a veteran, please contact the VA. They have additional benefits and support services that you might qualify for that are completely separate from your SSDI. Here's the thing. I know a lot of you watching this are tired. You're tired of changes, tired of uncertainty, tired of living month to month and wondering if you're going to make it. I see your comments, I read your messages, and I want you to know that your struggles are real and valid. These changes from the Treasury aren't perfect. They're not going to magically fix the fact that SSI and SSDI benefits are too low for most people to actually live on with dignity. They're not going to erase the stress of poverty or disability. But predictability matters. Knowing when your money is coming matters. And hopefully this is one small step toward a system that works better for the millions of Americans who depend on these programs. You've survived every hard month up until now. You figured it out, made impossible choices, and kept going. And you're going to figure this out too. You're more resourceful and stronger than you probably give yourself credit for. If this video helped you understand what's happening, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss updates. I'll be covering this story as more details come out, and I'll let you know the exact dates as soon as the SSA releases them. Drop a comment below and let me know. Are you on SSI or SSDI? How do you think these changes will affect you? What other topics do you want me to cover? I read every single comment, and your suggestions help me make videos that actually matter to you. And check out my video on emergency assistance programs. I'll link it right up here. There's help available that you might not know about. Thanks for watching, and remember, you're not alone in this. We're all figuring it out.